and welcome to the Chronicles of Yarnia, the podcast from Montclair's local yarn store. My name's Amanda.
I'm Kathleen.
I'm Haley.
And we are coming to you with episode number
31?
Yes, because last one was 30. And quarantine number
6 or 7.
I think it's 7, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's 7.
That's
Could
a
be
lot.
6.
Remember to like and subscribe us down that way.
Down below.
You think I would know by now, but I don't. And follow us on Ravelry, on the website, on Facebook, and on Instagram. We're Shop Yarnia everywhere except for Yarnia LLC on Facebook. So, I'm Jen.
If you subscribe, right, if you like, it helps us on YouTube's calculations of what floats to the top of other people's feed when they search yarn or knitting or crochet. So that helps us. If you click subscribe, that helps you, because then you can just click on your subscriptions in YouTube, and we're easy to find. You don't have to go searching for us all over the internet or all over YouTube every time you want to see if we posted a new podcast. It is the best way to know when we posted a new podcast, is to be sure you subscribe.
So it is a very hot day here in lovely Montclair. So we are not recording from our porch as we like to do.
We would be wilting.
Well, I'm already wilting a little bit, but we'd be wilting even more if we were outdoors. So anyway, that is so around town. We talked last time in around town about Black Lives Matter and some of the protests that have been happening in town and have been really well attended and have been happening, all across the country and the world, at least initially after the death of George Floyd, many places. There was an incident in Montclair.
We have our own Karen.
And yeah, it was actually on the national, and actually I heard international news too. The clip of someone who was really not being very nice to her neighbors, and the students of Montclair, again, both high school and college, graduated from Montclair High, staged a nonviolent protest to...
Every protest is peaceful.
Yes, well, they have been here, which is a good thing. But, to make their opinions known and to say racism is not welcome here. And it was... And there was a lot of back and forth on Facebook about it too. And my little part is chiming in to say, actually, somebody said their parents have brainwashed them. And I said, no, I don't think so. Number one, have you ever tried to get a teenager to do something they didn't want to do? Mm-hmm. And number two, the teens are really leading on this, which I think is fabulous. And I think you were part of the first generation that is very vocally anti-racist.
I wouldn't say the first. That kind of discounts every other person who's worked on it.
No, I said very vocally. Whatever.
I think that discounts a lot of people's work in the past.
Okay, it's much more. Whatever. In my lifetime, I have not seen as much as I've seen in the last month. So that's all I will say in my lifetime. Not trying to discount anyone else's good work. Believe me.
Yeah, I feel like this is just a lesson for people in Montclair who thought it's not us, it's not here. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We're not immune just because we're liberal. Liberals can be racist, and it doesn't mean you can't move past it, but you do have to learn from it and accept it and not call the cops on everyone again twice in 2 days. That's not how you do it. But yeah, that's kind of it.
Mm-hmm.
Things are not too different from last time we checked in.
It is going to be the 4th of July this weekend, as probably pretty much everywhere. No big celebrations this year. Though, actually the big thing, Hamilton. We did sign up for Disney Plus just yesterday so that we can see the original cast of Hamilton up close and personal as many times as we want. So
over and over again.
I'm very excited about that. And it was funny. There was something I was reading. It was actually, I follow Hamilton on Facebook, the Hamilton production has had a Facebook page forever, and one of their questions was, "Are you going to let your family and your quarantine mates sing along?" And I was like, it was so hard not to sing in the theater. Of course, I'm going to sing along. But then somebody else had a really good point. They're like, the first time you watch it, treat it like you're in the theater and be quiet. And I think I can do it once. And then after that, I'm going to sing along. That's one of my dinner, making dinner CDs. I play it loud, especially the first act. So looking forward to that. And very nice thing for Independence Day. So.
Not everyone's Independence Day.
No, American Independence Day.
White American Independence Day.
Okay. I'm listening to audiobooks. I'm educating myself further.
Yeah.
So.
That's good.
I know.
Everyone should be.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely, there's a lot of stuff that can make you think and question your own behavior and whether you're doing enough. So, education is one step. So, all right. So I think that's it from us for Around Town.
But today I'm coming to you from super distant from Massachusetts. My family is up on the Cape for 2 weeks for vacation. We're at my grandfather's house. And so as you can see, normally I'm out on the deck here looking that away as opposed to staring at my house. And also I will just point out that currently, in order to get a decent height, I have my computer on top of a table on top of a beer box because it's the Cape. So we're here for a bit, hanging out, and I brought a bunch of projects with me on vacation. I love the Cape. It's awesome. We're in Lower Cape, or Outer Cape. So that's like Orleans, Eastham, Wellfleet, Truro, not Provincetown. Provincetown's the tip. So I love this place. It's great. We come up here every year. I've been coming up since I was a kid. That's Great Pond behind me. Hopefully I'm not too backlit, but sorry, Amanda. So let's see. Let's get to what's going on around town. Around town for me is Massachusetts right now. Massachusetts is being really great, and the Cape is being really great about social distancing and rules for the beach, and everybody wearing masks. And sorry, there was like a bug on me that I had to get off. The one thing that the Cape's not great about is that there are mosquitoes everywhere. I mean, obviously we're on water right here, so of course, but like, you have so many bites, y'all. So many bites. I bought a bug bite thing. Did you ever get like Facebook or Instagram ads for a bug bite thing where it's like a suction thing? But it works. It totally works. I 100% recommend the bug bite thing, and it was like $10, and I love it. There's another bug. So, sorry, I digressed. What else is going on around town? Apparently I'm getting a lot of bug bites. That's no surprise. I'm a mosquito magnet. We're going to be going to the beach later. The beaches have been really great and limited the number of people there unless it's a bigger beach. So we're going to be going to First Encounter Beach, which is not limited folks there, and it's walkable for us. And it's a nice beach where you can really spread out and stay 12 feet apart from everybody, which is awesome. So we'll wear our masks there, and we'll have our masks on when we're on the sand. And then we'll go swimming, and it'll be rad. So let's see what else is going on around town. Bury the lead. I'm sure you guys saw last podcast, towards the end, Kathleen dropped the news that we were moving to a bigger space, and you probably also saw in our newsletter. Hopefully, if you don't get our newsletter, go to our website, shopyarnia.com, and sign up. We are using the newsletter a lot to disseminate a lot of information. We also put it on Facebook, and I think we put it on Instagram too. So we're moving from our store at 147 Valley Road in Montclair to 127 Watchung Avenue. So it's just around the corner. Cuts my commute down 3 minutes to 2 minutes, which is pretty awesome. And it is in the Watchung Plaza area. It's in the area by the Locksmith and Dot Reader and Bluestone Coffee, my favorite coffee, and Local Coffee, which is my second favorite coffee. I love Bluestone. They have my heart. And so we're super excited. So the space is bigger. Yay! Yay! We'll have space for everything we have, so we won't really have to worry too much about like changing things out seasonally. So that'll be really awesome. And we'll have space for teaching classes. So I'm super psyched for that, because before it was kind of hard to have a class going on at the same time as, you know, if somebody needed help or folks were shopping. Because, you know, the old space, if you guys have been in, you know how like small and like lovely and jewel boxy, but it's a little bit easier to function with a little bit more space. So we're super psyched for that. So that we're aiming to have everything moved by the end of July. And we'll see. Kathleen has been doing the lion's share of work, and it's looking great. It's really looking great. So until then, we are still closed to in-store shopping. I know New Jersey has come up with you can be, you know, smaller businesses can reopen to in-store shopping. We're going to hold off until after the move, because there's a lot of logistical things going on, and really in the small space, it's not always easy to have more than one person in there and keep a good social distance. So we're still open to curbside. So you can place your order, you can email us, let us know what you need. We can help pick stuff. The sun is shifting, so my light is changing. There we go. We can help you pick stuff, and we are always shipping, always, even if you're, you know, even if later on when everything opens up, we're still shipping. So, let's see, what else is going on around town? That might be it right now.
So there's more going on in town than there has been in a while, which is good news. We have a little bit more opening. I got my hair cut for the first time since January. Yay! I go to a really tiny salon, and they were doing a really good job at making sure everything was cleaned off between customers. There weren't very many folks in the salon at any one time. There's only 2 chairs in the whole place, and 2 ladies run it. It's delightful. I go to Touche down in Melbourne, and they just did a great job. But it was really nice to, I am older than I look, and you can really, I don't know what's the right word for that. Certainly felt older than I feel when I look in my podcast screen and have like grays coming in. You never see those when I'm on a regular schedule. I'm sure I'm not the only one that's feeling that way. I know I have some friends who are looking forward to manicures and pedicures and just feeling a little bit back to normal. I know all of those things are real luxuries, and we're lucky to be able to enjoy them. But yeah, so yay. And I hope you're able to enjoy a luxury here and there too as things start opening up. Not everything is back to normal. In a normal world, when Jen and Kathleen were here, we would be talking about the 4th of July parade and fireworks that are going to be tomorrow in Montclair and how fun those are. The last few years, well, let's see, last year I was in the parade with Abigail and the Girl Scouts in town. The year before, Charlie was 6 weeks old, and I was not marching in a parade. I was in the parade the year before that. Abby just loves going with the Girl Scouts and throwing out candy and marching through the town. And we usually see the girls in our troop, of course. And it's a really fun opportunity to see girls of all ages across town and sing songs together, and just like enjoy the community. But no parade this year, and no fireworks this year, which is totally understandable. Usually Montclair has fireworks at the local stadium, for baseball stadium, which is a lot of fun, and the kids love it, and it's not like too intense. In other words, it's like not too much work. You go, you enjoy yourself, and you go home, and it's fine. I mean, take a movie to watch in the car on the drive out, because sometimes the parking deck takes a little time to clear out. But it's a lot of fun. We really enjoy it. But obviously, getting everybody together in a baseball stadium is probably not advisable this year. So, no fireworks. I wonder, I'll have to check out if they're doing, if like New York City's doing any fireworks at all. Or, you know, worst case, we could always watch a video of last year's, because they always do a great job. There's been a couple years I've been lucky enough to go and see the New York City fireworks on some years they're on the Hudson and some years they're on the East River. But yeah, they're always like spectacular, and it is like something that's a lot of fun to do, like once in a lifetime, or a few times in a lifetime. I used to work in an office on like the 35th floor where you could go up, and that was when they were on the Hudson side, and so I worked in Jersey City, and you could like oversee the whole Hudson River, and the kids really enjoyed that, right? And we're in an office building, and you could look out the windows, and nobody got scared from the loud noise. There were no crowds, and there were bathrooms. Yay. Always a good thing. Be aware of that if you take kids to ever see the fireworks in New York. Awesome, and there's a lot of good viewing locations, but you do have to think about going to the bathroom before you go, because it is a little bit of a wait. Let's see. So even though we're not going to see fireworks with all of our friends in town tomorrow, I hope you have some fun plans for the weekend. Probably a long weekend, right? Some companies are taking Friday off, some are taking Monday off. Most people have a 3-day weekend in here somehow. Yeah, and so just take some time to relax and enjoy it. Don't do too much work. Do the things that you would do if you were taking a proper holiday, right? Enjoy some grilling outside, or yeah, if you have a pool, enjoy it. We don't have a pool, but we have a sprinkler, so the kids will be running around in their swimsuits in the sprinkler. and we'll water the lawn at the same time. Bonus.
So this is Kathleen and Haley to talk about finished objects,
Which we have 0.
both of us, but it's because we have a really, really big whip, and we're gonna show you some, or Amanda is gonna put in some clips to show you what we have been working on. But in terms of finished objects, truly big fat goose egg from both of us. So there.
Now I have 2-ish, almost 3. One that you've already seen, but I fixed it up a little bit. I have part 2 of another finished object, so 2.5 finished objects this time. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the Crochet Slippers that I've showed you before by Yoka Hatta. If you remember, I crocheted those slippers with some Noro Curion in a crochet along that Knitting Fever was having toward the beginning, like in beginning of April. They were super fast. Each one took me about a day to do, tops. And I loved them. So, but they were a little big. So I tried to felt them. And I did felt them. Here, I'll show you what they look like. See? Definitely felty. And they shrank a little bit, but not a ton. I think the bottom shrank more than the top. And here's the other one. So they're still a little bit big on me. And I might try to needle felt them. So what I did was I put them in the wash on warm with a pair of jeans. And I was checking them every 10 minutes, and then they weren't shrinking very quickly, so I just let them in for the whole cycle, and then let them dry, and then they still were not as small as I wanted them, so I did it again. They were still not as small as I want them, so I did it again. So this is 3 times through the wash. Maybe my wash is gentle on clothes, which is excellent for every application except felting slippers. I read online that Noro is hard, like a little bit resistant to felting, but after a few felts, it did a really nice job. I like it. I like the texture. I might try like needle felting the top, maybe, just to get it to cinch up some more. But in any event, I'm relatively happy with them. If I did them again, obviously, I could just take out some stitches in the middle and make it, because that's all, the foot actually fits nicely. This is fine after I felted it. It's just the top needs probably 5 stitches out, down to 1. So, and since they took me a day, I'm not that fussed about it. And it was a good experiment. But what I did get was, and if you've ever walked around and knitted or crocheted slippers before, what you'll know is it's a little slippery on a wood floor. If you have carpeting, don't worry about it, because like you probably won't slip. I mean, I guess if it's really slick, but something like Noro that's a little grabby, I would think would stick to carpeting. But certainly these don't. So I ordered some bottoms for my slippers. They're suede bottoms. And I wanted to tell you about this company, because we don't have these in the store, but I got mine on Etsy, and it's by a store called Lavender Hill Knits on Etsy. I got the women's size in brown. They're from New Hampshire, and it comes with 2 heels and 2 toes, and then she put some brown yarn in the back to sew them on. And it took me like 10 minutes to sew them on during a conference call. So I did one, and I'll do the other one on my next call. But yay, I like them. This is a little floppy. If I had bought more of these, I might get the whole sole so that I don't have the flop in the middle. But that's okay. It was an interesting, fun experiment anyway. Like I said, everything is great. I would take 5 stitches out of the top of these if I was doing it for myself, but I have sort of narrowish feet, so your mileage may vary on that. Just be aware. I'll put, because I do have a project for this on my Ravelry, so I'll put like the dimensions, the measurements of, so you can tell post 3 times felting in my far too gentle washing machine how many stitches you might need to like take out, right? Yay. So that's one. I'm considering that project completely done. It might be gifted to somebody in holidays, which I really need to start thinking about what my gift knits are going to be. Maybe I'll have an idea for that for next time. Christmas in July. That's always a good thing. At least start knitting or crocheting or making for Christmas in July. I also have other gift knits to do. July might be the month of gift knits. I have things to do in that regard. But fortunately, I got 2 other things off my needles. So I will tell them to you. One is almost finished and will not be finished until probably September, because I finished knitting my Damejakka Loppa and wove in all the ends. Most of all the ends, except for the ones that you don't weave in. So, Damejakka Loppa is a pattern by Pinneguri. It's a traditional colorwork sweater. There's 6 colors. I used the Rauma PT2 vinyl garn. Mainly this medium gray color with the teal, dark teal, and then I have 4 more accent colors up here. White, dark gray, light blue, and that mustard yellow. So you have the yoke, then the whole body of the sweater, it has fleas. You do a little bit more yellow down at the bottom before going into a ribbed hem, and the same thing on the sleeves. Sleeves, ribbed hem. Ta-da! Yay! I finished, I can't believe it. Last time I showed you 2 weeks ago, right? The sleeve was not done at all, and now it is. I did leave in my, just to say again what my process is, because that's how I got my process, as I watched other people and learned from them. So maybe somebody else likes this too or wants to try it out on their next sweater. This is a Jen thing. I always leave in my waste yarn here just in case I don't get the decreases right and I end up with a way too floppy sleeve, or I do them too fast and I end up with a way too tight sleeve, I can always rip that sleeve back and it's super easy to unravel it all the way back to this, to my waist yarn, and I don't have to deal with it. The second thing I do, which came in very handy on this sweater, was I mark all of my decreases on the sweater with a stitch marker, opening stitch marker, and I'm using the, I use the Coco Knits opening colored stitch markers, right, that come in 6 colors, and those are great. They're like perfect little opening stitch markers that don't get in your way of anything, like little bulb safety pins. Perfect. But I did the first sleeve and I was super happy with it. I was happy with the length. It ended just right. And then I wanted the second sleeve to match. Well, the nice thing is I didn't have to try on the second sleeve a single time. I just match up my waist yarn here at the top, and then all my stitch markers should match up on the 2 sleeves, right? My decreases should be at exactly the same time. That means that while I'm knitting, and I can just count, instead of counting rows, or at least this one has fleas, it would be easy to count, but like, my goodness, if I was counting rows to make sure I was on track, that would be a pain. But instead I can just match up stitch markers and see how much further I have to go, and I know I need to put in 11 stitch markers. I did 11 decreases before I started the sleeve. So it makes it super easy to match the second sleeve to the first sleeve, so you don't end up with something super wonky. Let's see. I could put it on. Do you want to see it on? Okay, I'll put it on. Yay! So, my Damejakka Loppa. Obviously, this is going to be steeked, so we're going to cut straight down the middle here. If you look on the inside, I've got, you're like, Mandy, you didn't weave in all your ends. But actually, in a steeked sweater, you change colors right here in this place where you're going to cut, and you cut off all your ends, so you don't have to worry about them. They just go away. You don't have to weave them in. Beauty of a steeked sweater. But you can see my sleeves turned out just really nicely right there. Same length on both sleeves. Yeah, no, it's nicely fitted. It's not too tight. It fits me very nicely, which is always a happy event with a sweater, right? Let's see. Yeah, this actually would, if you didn't want to do the button band and you like the pattern, you could just continue all the way around, not steek it, and have a pullover with a very nice yoke. I totally recommend that. It would be lovely. Hold on. Yeah. So, as I've mentioned on the podcast, we are doing a knit along for this sweater. We started back in March, or maybe even February, with this knit along. It runs until the end of August. So, don't worry if you haven't started it even. Feel free to jump in. You've still got 2 months left. And honestly, I could have finished this sweater in 2 months if I hadn't started my elder throw, which is still going. But yeah, because the top part took me like maybe 3 weeks, or, you know, the body took me probably 3 weeks. And then obviously sleeve took me about a week and a half on each side. I will say, like, I powered through these sleeves. My oldest daughter and I have been, well, and my husband, we've been watching. She loves Doctor Who. She's watched every episode. And she's gotten us into it. So we went back to the beginning of New Who, and have been watching all the episodes. And I do think my fleas got a little tight in some episodes, like the first Weaving Angels episode has some tight fleas, and the end of the David Tennant series was near the end of one of my sleeves, and those fleas are a little bit tight. It's exciting. But anyway, that's what happens when you knit while you watch exciting TV. Your stitches might not. Your gauge may change, FYI. But yay, I'm super happy to be done with this. It's going to sit in my box until we're back in the store and we can all stick together. Or, you know, those of us who finish for the knit along. I know Evelyn has finished hers. And we've got a lot of other folks who are in the middle of sweaters. And we'll all have a steeking party when we're able to get back together in September, which should be just the right time to have a new cardigan. Yay. So that's my Damejakka Loppa. Oh, I did want to say that we do have prizes for this knit along, and that is, the prize is your choice of 2 colors that we have in stock of Ralma Phenol Garn, plus a pattern from Jenny Penny, who is another fantastic colorwork designer. Trying to diversify the colorwork designer thing. I tend to love designers and knit a lot from the same designer, so I want to make sure to bring in more people. Let's see, my last, can you believe it? I have another finished object. My last finished object is my Rainy Window Socks by Helen Stewart. This is the 3rd sock in the Handmade Sock Society number 3. And I finished them. And you'll notice I got sock blockers. So I'll tell you a little bit about that in a sec. But first, now you can actually see this pattern. It has the little tiny cable that is, like I said last time, a real cable. It has twisted rib at the top hem and these little raindrop designs all the way down the foot. Slip stitch heel. That's my regular toe. I never follow patterns for toes. I just do like my regular decreased toe. Yeah, but they're lovely. I really like these. And these were knit and spun right round sock. This is the Crowded Cloud, which I thought was perfect for the rainy window, right? The Crowded Cloud color. Yeah. So I've been showing you these on my hand. I've been doing socks because I really do love knitting along with Helen Stewart's Sock Society, Handmade Sock Society. And yeah, so I've been showing you on my hand and I was like, that's just not very professional and it doesn't show off the socks very well. So I picked these up. I wanted to tell you about them. I got these from, where's the, oh, just a minute. I got also these from Etsy. This is by A Needle Runs Through It. Ta-da, and that's her card. There you go. A needle runs through it, and she has a lot of different patterns of sock blockers, which I really like these with the little flowers on them. They come in different sizes, but yeah, it's not super necessary. I've never had sock blockers before, but I think podcasting and showing off socks, they really do look pretty. So, yay. I usually block my socks by putting them on my feet. So, yay. Those are the, again, Rainy Window Socks by Helen Stewart. Okay.
I adjusted things. So, finished objects. Okay. So, finished objects. I don't have much finished. I still have a bunch of stuff in progress. I had to take a pause from, you know, doing stuff to pack, but I'm getting there. I don't know. This is a while. It's been a while since I've had a finished object. Oh, I do have one thing that is finished that is more of a collaboration between me and my mom, but I figured I would show you guys this cool mask that I made. Well, I cut out, and then I lost the power cord to my sewing machine. So my mom did the sewing for me. And then I tweaked it slightly. So this is So this is a mask that my mom and I kind of collaborated on. This is an Octagon style box mask. And I think the fit is really great. It's one of the best fitting homemade masks that I've seen. And it's an Octagon piece. There's a couple of different YouTube tutorials for them. I'll send Amanda the link to the one that we used. And it was really straightforward. It was very easy I believe the one that we used had a filter pocket. We didn't put a filter pocket in it just because this was kind of like a test run. It was like a muslin version of it. And so we'll see how it looks. So it's an octagon, and it's 2 layers. And I don't know if you can see the folds here. So it's basically, you fold the octagon layer in like that, and then you do like a little fold back. Let me show you how it looks, because I feel like this mask is very easy to fit. I made some for the kids too. So if you see, fits really high on the bridge, which I like because it keeps my glasses from fogging up. And it fits under my chin really nicely, and there's a little bit of room in here. My hair is now a mess. There we go. The other thing I like, and that I did with this, which was a tip that I'd seen before, because sometimes the elastic bothers me. I don't love the behind the ear ones. I don't mind them, but I don't love them. But my kids really hate them. So they like over the head. And one of the things that's easiest, this has a casing right here. And right here. With the casing style, what you can do is, this is a shoelace. This is a cord lock. The kind where you push and you slide. The shoelace and cord lock are fantastic for over the ear. You thread them through the casing, you thread the edges through the cord lock. I tied a knot so that I wouldn't thread the edges back through the cord lock. And the aglets at the end make it really easy to thread through a casing. But the nice thing about this is that because it slides really well, you can wear your mask around your neck until you're ready to put it on, and it's very easy to put it on. So I have a whole bunch of shoelaces that I had ordered and cord locks that I had ordered, and I swapped out, for a couple of the masks that we have, I swapped out the shoelace and cord lock combo, and it's great. I really like it. It's also easy to hang, to dry, and I actually didn't take anything off when I washed them. I just left them all on. So we'll have the link to the mask that I made. You can also search it up by 3D Octagon mask or 3D box mask is a helpful terminology. So that's my finished object. I made a bunch of those with my mom, and yeah. Let's see. I think that's about it for me.
Now,
Anyway,
I have 2 things that are in progress. And they are both by Helen Stewart. I need to diversify. I told you I have the certain designers that I really love. And Helen Stewart's one of them. Not to mention I'm in the middle of my Handmade Sock Society number 3. So I have, of course, finished one sock. What do? You cast on the next one. So I started the Cirrus Socks, which is the 4th sock of the Handmade Sock Society number 3. And I finished the leg already. And turned the heel, I'm on the foot. This one, here, I'm not going to put it on a blocker yet. This one has a really lovely texture pattern and a little bit of lace. There's a little bit of lace in there. On the foot, on the leg, right? And then it's just a plain foot. So this one is literally zooming along. I had turned the heel, and then I did all the gusset decreases, and all of this. I went from like here to here while I was at the dentist yesterday with me and 2 kiddos. So while I was waiting for those 2 to get their teeth cleaned, I worked on a sock, and finished, 2 inches, 3 inches of the foot. But now that it's decreased, it's literally just knitting in the round till I'm done with the foot. Now that is going to be sort of a pain on the second sock, because I'm going to have to count rows instead of count like pattern repeats, which are easier to count, but that's okay. But yeah, I like this one. It's a really, I think this would look really nice with some variegated yarn as well. I'm using Tosh Sock in her Blue Hosta colorway, which we do have 2 or 3 more skeins of in the store, and I thought was really a lovely, not tonal per se, but it's like greens with a little grays mixed in and some lighter tones and some cooler tones. You can see it even better like in the heel, the different colors. It's, yeah, turquoise with some gray. It's pretty, but it shows off, it lets the pattern shine through the textures, even subtle textures, because this one has some little wrap stitches. So yeah, that's coming along. I'll probably finish the other sock, that sock this week, and be starting on the second sock of that pattern. Those go really fast, and it's nice to find a sock pattern that goes fast, because then you can just reuse it for other yarns as well. Not that a complicated lacy sock isn't. It's super fun. Obviously I love them, but easy socks are nice too. Yeah, oh, also just a note. This sock was supposed to have a slip stitch heel, and I didn't read the pattern, so I just have like a plain heel. There's no slip stitches at all in this heel. I'll make the second sock to match it, but if you're looking at mine and saying like, wait, that's not how I have seen it elsewhere, that's because I forgot to put in the slip stitches, and I didn't realize it till halfway through the heel, and I didn't feel like ripping it out again. So plain heel. That was a mistake though. It wasn't intentional. And my last work in progress, which I started on about a week ago, is also Helen Stewart. And I'm a sucker for knit-alongs, you guys know that. So I actually have this skein of Apple Tree Knits, which we have several of her colorways in the store, and we have several different weights of her yarn, but one that I had never used before was her lace weight. So Apple Tree Knits has silk lace weight yarn. We don't have this color in the store right now, but we do have, it was a one of a kind that she dyed. But we do have some lace weight in like a champagne to white that's just gorgeous. Oh my goodness, it would be perfect for like a wedding shawl or something like that. It's lovely. But I got this. I've never worked with 100% silk before. I've never worked with lace weight before. So, like, why not? I thought it was too gorgeous to pass up, and something that I've been meaning to try out on both accounts and work with. So, here we go. And I was thinking, there were several patterns I had bookmarked. I really wanted something to show off the colors, because the colors of that gradient are really lovely. And a lot of lace weight shawls emphasize the lace, and so they're very holey and lacy, which is gorgeous, you know, and have like almost a snowflake pattern. I love them. But it doesn't necessarily show off the color very well, as when you have like solid sections of stockinette. So I was looking for a shawl that had good solid sections of stockinette, or, you know, yeah, or, you know, some solid sections. Wasn't able to find a ton of lace weight, but there's some light fingering shawls, which I was like, oh, it's close enough. And I really, of course, like Helen Stewart's patterns, which tend to be beautiful, look more complicated than they are, which for me in the summertime is always a good thing, right? And especially in the middle of emerging from quarantine, but really still being at home most of the time, and being on conference calls a lot. I like something not too mind taxing, but that looks beautiful. So I was looking at like Helen Stewart's Sprite's Fin shawl, her Impressionist shawl, and then I saw she was having a mystery knit along. So of course I started it. So this is a lot of Clue 1 from Helen Stewart's Stillness mystery knit along that is currently ongoing. Clue 1 came out last week, and was the first 20% of the shawl. I will probably end up, and so I'm modifying it. I'm using a size 3 needle, which gets me a gauge that that I like, that I think is nice and airy, but will have good, like, it'll be solid enough and not too loopy for a shawl. You can't stick your finger through it. But yeah, so so I'm modifying it for that. Since I'm knitting this project on a 3 instead of the recommended needle size, that means it might be smaller. That means I might want to add sections to the end. So this will be, right now this is in the Stillness pattern, the Stillness shawl pattern, but it probably will be modified to fit the skein of yarn that I have as I go along. But let's see, if you are knitting this and you don't want to see it, just look away and I'll tell you when to look back. But I don't think you're gonna be able to see very much anyway. This is what I have so far, and it's a half pie shawl. Yay. So, a few eyelets. This is solid. A little texture going on here. I think it's going to be really lovely. It's going to cut some, it'll be great for warm weather. It'll cut air conditioning, but definitely not be heavy, be really cool to wear. Yay! So far, obviously, I'm still in the purple section in the middle. Haven't got to the blue, but looking forward to it. Okay, if you are looking away, you can look again. But yeah, so that's all I'm working on for now, except for my elder throw, which I'm still working on clue 3, because every time I've been like, I wanted to finish other projects. So I was working on that, and then it takes too much brain work to do while I was watching Doctor Who, so I finished my sweater and I'm almost done seaming together my Rowan blanket from last year. I literally have 5 more squares to seam together and then I'm done seaming that, and then it will be done and I'll show you next time. Okay, let's see.
In the meantime, let's see, I brought a bunch, we're going to Works in Progress, and I bought a bunch of stuff that for vacation knitting. So I decided that I have multiple projects in multiple realms of things. So the first thing I have is I wound up the yarn. I just decided which yarn to do for my summer sorrel, and this is the grays with blues and purples Mad Tosh. I have no idea what color it is because I left the label at home and I have no memory retention whatsoever. So this will be my summer sorrel. I have a swatch going right now that I don't know where I put it. It's somewhere in the house. And hopefully I'll be able to get started on this and do some cranking out on this while we're up here. And if not, I'll crank it out when I get home. And what else am I doing? Works in progress. I have my Dame de Fer. I have not made much progress on this because I had to stop and wind up yarn. And I brought, there we go. I brought the next skein of yarn up, so I had to wind it up. So this is Dame de Fer Cardigan. It's a fingering weight cardigan with a cute textured yoke. I'm past the textured yoke and I'm into the 300 stitches of purl back and forth because it's stockinette and it's a sweater, a cardigan sweater, and yeah, I did it to myself. And I am also working on my needlepoint. I don't know if you can see. You can kind of see with the light behind. I feel like I'm going to stab myself in the head. I'm to like right here, completing it. And I completed one whole color, so I'm really psyched about that. Because there's a lot of colors in there. So the medium pink is done. So
hello again.
It's Kathleen and Haley here to talk about Works in Progress. And we actually do have many works in progress, the biggest of which I think Amanda is going to do a little clip at the end. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But first we'll talk about our knitting and crochet works in progress.
Okay.
Would you like to go first?
I guess. So The last time we saw this project, it was still in the supplies phase.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my Plarn project, my plastic yarn recycling situation. So I am making, this is going to be like a grocery tote bag type of thing. This is the bottom of it, and it's actually quite squishy for being plastic. I made like strips that were 3/4 of an inch
Do you
wide.
have any strips still in there?
No, this is all the ones that I cut when I was just trying it out.
You can hold up the end too, just to at least show that. Yeah. So
That
this is
pretty much the width of my...
and a lot of these were bags that from the yarn that we get at Yarnia,
Yes.
because when we get things from our suppliers, each color is bagged, so we know that the dye lot is the same and all of that. So instead of just throwing those bags away because they're not recyclable here, Haley has decided to...
Actually, my environmental science teacher in high school did collect, like, thin plastic bags like that and recycle them somewhere.
Some places take them, but no place really locally takes them. But it's even better to reuse than to recycle, right? In the hierarchy.
Exactly. Yes.
Reduce, reuse, then recycle.
Yeah, that's what they don't teach you in school. There's a reason that reduce is the first one and reuse is the second one and recycle is the third one, because that's the order of like best or like
best
least
practices.
Yeah, best practices and like least waste.
Environmental harm.
Yeah, least harm, because source reduction is one of the best ways, because you don't have a plastic problem if there is no plastic. So, and then reusing is a good way to be low waste or zero waste. I know zero waste seems unattainable, but baby steps. If you commit to being low waste and look in your house and see what you have. If something breaks, you can fix it. And I know many of you, like maybe not everyone, but a lot of people watching this have the skills. Probably everyone has the skills to like sew up a hole in their t-shirt.
This is a crafty group.
If you have a needle
very crafty group.
and any type of, could be yarn. There's visible mending, which is like a
I
trend.
love visible mending. Actually,
So it doesn't have to be like...
I have a pair of denim capris that seriously need some visible mending.
Well, you have one pair that you did crochet patches on.
I did, inspired by Chanel. Chanel had done something similar.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Such inspiration.
Yes, we take inspiration from everywhere. But anyway, back to the... Oh, I know. One thing I was going to say related to the whole reduce, reuse. There is a group that I'm part of on Facebook, and if there's not one in your area... You may either want to...
what I think it is?
It could be. You may want to think about either starting one or at least investigating to see if there's something similar. If you live in any kind of densely populated area...
Or not.
Or not, it's true. But I mean, I'm telling you, in a densely populated area, this group is called Curb Alert.
It is what I was thinking.
It started because twice a month on Wednesdays in our area, and probably different days for different parts of town, you can put out what's called bulk waste. So like things that are too big to go in the garbage. But what winds up happening a lot of times on the night before the bulk waste is picked up, so on Tuesday, every other Tuesday night in our area, people put all sorts of things out at the curb, and people have started like driving around. They know there's going to be stuff at the curb.
Because if it's out there, they don't want it.
Because one man's trash is another man's treasure, right? Which actually reminds me, maybe this weekend we'll put out the slide from the swing set that that Jean mainly disassembled, and an ottoman that it's the top. I don't know if it's leather or pleather, or like I think it may be bonded leather, which is like reconstituted leather, which is kind of a strange concept. But anyway,
reduce, reuse, recycle.
So it's not working for me anymore because I do put my feet on it, and the top of it was getting ripped. But it might work for somebody else if they had a way to like cover the top of it.
So if you're
and also
for
I found a new ottoman.
Slide.
I knew well, if they go out this weekend, it'll be. We'll see. I know Amanda's planning on editing it tonight.
True.
But yes, so Curb Alert is a fabulous group. I would guess there were at least 50 posts a day on the Montclair Curb Alert group.
And it's all free, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's not even one of those low.
You're not allowed to sell.
Because there are Facebook. Like there's plenty. Like Facebook is actually a pretty Facebook Marketplace. You can find a lot of stuff, and I feel like people are pretty willing to negotiate. I use that a lot. Not a lot, but I looked at it more at school because I have since deleted Facebook since March when Corona took me home. Take me home, country roads. Because Facebook is unhealthy for me and a lot of people. So I don't look at it now, but at school. But I know Facebook Marketplace is a really good place for like it's basically like a thrift store out of everyone around you's house. You know, like pretty low prices. You can find kind of anything.
But the Curb Alert is...
But Curb Alert is free.
Curb Alert is even better. And basically, there are two kind of things that get posted on our Curb Alert. One is literally somebody drove by and saw that this stuff was at the curb, and it's like... That's
a real alert.
I can't use it, but somebody else can. And there almost should be like a coding system. There sort of is. People
like that,
people
like,
do post and
flares.
say not mine, but I spotted this at blah, blah, blah. There was one woman who, like, I think it was her first post this week, and I think she posted, like, 6 different things. She might have been going on a long run or something, and she stopped and took pictures of all these things.
I saw, like, I texted you a picture of it. I was like, do we need an electric skillet?
That's right, yes.
I didn't know.
You could, yeah, exactly. Very personal
Everyone
Curb Alert.
can Curb Alert.
So, it is great. It's like, if you've got stuff that, you know, you can't use, or you're looking for something, and it's like, you know, why have anything go to the landfill that somebody can use? So, and at this time, so many people have been doing clean outs. We really haven't, though we thought we might, but we have not.
That was the goal.
Have gotten to that. We'll see. Maybe
However,
once Yarnia 2.0 is open, maybe we'll shift into that.
I hope so.
So anyway,
oh, sorry.
That is, yeah, you're very loud with your crochet.
I know. Today. I'm sorry if me like crunching the plastic was annoying earlier.
So anyway, that is
whip one.
That
it's
is
like a little boat hat.
It is like a little boat hat. You can do little ribbon ties, make it a Bo Peep hat.
This is all I have so far on this project, but it was actually really easy and really fun to make the yarn, the Plarn.
And are you following a pattern, or you've just done this kind of thing before?
I mean, I did look up like Plarn patterns,
Plarn bags,
and
Plarn totes,
just to like get an idea.
And Plarn is plastic yarn. Is yarn made from plastic?
Yeah.
Just like Tarn is yarn made from old T-shirts, which we have also done a little bit with over the years.
Yeah. So this is no pattern, but I think
I'm sure there are some on Ravelry.
I chained. I just searched on the internet just because I was only looking for inspiration, really, like to get the wheels turning. But I think I did about 30 chains, and then did like the way that you make kind of like I don't know if there's a specific word for this, but like it's increase
like a center
on
spine,
the corners.
basically.
Yeah, it's like you sort of increase the way you do when you increase on a circle, but there's like
a lot of straight
flat
in between.
So like there's I know you can do 3 stitches in the corners to make it increase, but I did 2 and a chain in between, like stitch, chain, stitch in the same hole on each corner, on each of the 4 corners.
Each of the 2 ends.
So that's what I did.
There's actually 4 corners. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my working pattern.
Okay, cool. And then when you get to a certain point, you just go around and around. You don't, like, once it's increased to the point...
3 or 4 rounds.
Yeah,
so.
You've increased to the point that you're happy with it. Then by going around and around, it just is going to go up eventually.
Yes.
Yes.
You can sort of start it to see it. It's a little wiggly, but it's got character.
Yeah. It'll be... maybe while we're watching something tonight, if you want to make more Plarn or something, you can do more tomorrow. All right. I am going to show a new project that I'm working on since we last were together, and it is a Noro blanket. We did a big promo probably a month ago now in our newsletter for a Noro throw, and it is a throw. It's going to be a shop sample. It is called To the Point. It is from the Noro blanket book that I think we're actually going to start stocking when we, like, now that we're moving into a bigger space, we have dreams. We have dreams about new things that we want to add. So I will hold this up. It's basically just a series of attached mitered squares.
I will hold this up.
So far I have done, and I'm working with Noro Tsubame, which is what Amanda made her beautiful summer top out of. I'm working with this colorway that's really very earth tone. You know, it's greens and browns and creams, a little bit of purple in there, just for punch, and I love purple. So yeah, you basically work a series of mitered squares, and it's a really cool pattern. If you've ever done mitered squares, basically you work from the maximum number of stitches to the minimum. So for this one, I would have started, you know, with this outside row here, and then you decrease every row to get to your miter. And actually mine are mitered rectangles rather than squares. But so you do these strips. Basically, you work six squares or rectangles in a row, and then you finish off. And literally when you finish off, you have one stitch. So if you're one of those people that hates binding off, it's a really nice project in that way. And the fact that you just keep picking up stitches along the previous one is really pretty fun.
It's like no seaming practically.
Practically no seaming, only to join the strips.
Yeah.
And actually, it is interesting.
But you could crochet it since this looks like a crochet.
That's exactly what I'm thinking about doing. So yeah, so that is when you do your picking up of stitches on the back, you have what looks like a little crochet chain. And I'm thinking actually when I join the strips, possibly of even doing that on top. I might make it a design element.
A design feature.
I might actually overlap them. And I will pin, let's see if we lay it out. I will pin one to the other. This one's going the other way. I'll pin them at the corners of each square. And if I overlap them, as long as when I chain, if I just go through both layers of fabric, I can do like a slip stitch as an attachment. It's not going to be very elastic though. That's the one thing I worry about for a throw. But I'll think about it and see.
The yarn itself is bouncy though.
Yes, it is. It's got a nice squish.
If you do it in a bigger hook than you would,
yes,
it would be a little bit stretchier.
That's a good idea. Hopefully. Yep. So this is Nora Subami. We have this in a bunch of colors, and it is 50% silk, 25 wool, and 25 poly. So, you know, it's definitely. It's not something that you're going to want to wash a whole lot, I would say. It's really going to be kind of a decorative throw. But I think it'll be beautiful. I mean, I love the color changes in the yarn, as always with Noro. And I think it's just going to be pretty and a fun project. And my hope is to have... Chippy. Yes, very potato chippy. You just, you finish one and you want to start the next one. So I've been thinking we would like to have like a little seating area toward the front of the new location, and maybe if we've got a comfy chair or something there, this could be on the back of that.
Cute, yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So that is my current most frequently worked on whip, the to the point blanket or throw.
It's making me want to do like crocheted mitered squares, because I think it would be a very similar construction in crochet. Where you start and you chain double the width, or double the side length that you want, and then you just decrease in the middle and the center when you get to the center, and I think it would be kind of the same thing. Yep. And I know during knit night, I think Edith said there are definitely crochet mitered square patterns for sure, so I will look that. I haven't yet, but it's on the noggin.
All right. So what is next for you?
2. You have
and it is, if you see us melting, it is getting a little warm in here.
We're trying to zip along.
Yes.
So this has been featured before.
Yes.
When it was in 2 separate pieces, but now it's conjoined. So this is the, I forget the name. I was gonna look again.
Didn't mean to put it up last time.
Yeah, we'll put it right here. It's a nice simple crochet tank top that I'm gonna make a bit longer than the pattern says, but she calls for. She's just you can add length, because the way I mentioned last time, the construction is you just make it as long. But I do want to.
You'll make almost like rib. Will you go the other way?
I'm gonna go once I
make it horizontal.
I think I've decided. So basically, this is just the front
the front and one side,
and I slip stitched or I single crocheted the 2 panels together, and then you just pick up and go horizontal, you go the opposite direction to make the side panels. And in the pattern it says do one on each side and do the crisscross and tie it so it can be changeable in size. There's a word for that. It's not in my brain right now. Yes. But I think I'm going to just crochet the back piece all the way around and connect it on the other side, and then once that's done, that's the main piece, and it'll all be one piece. But I do want to do a picot edge on the bottom.
That would be so cute.
However, it's a bit shorter than I wanted it to be, so I'm going to do a few rows of just single crochet in the round on the bottom, like perpendicular to the stitches of this.
Yes.
And then do the picot.
Nice. That sounds nice. And then how are the straps done? Are they just like spaghetti straps?
I'm going to do just a foundation chain. And then like you work the first stitch into like the point of this triangle, and I guess just sew it up. That's how I normally do it.
Yep, sounds good. So hopefully,
So this is tank top. I know I was going to work on it, but at least I worked on this like I started this piece the last time I worked on it. So starting is the hardest part.
And you're so quick once you get going with it. I'm sure you'll bang it out really quickly.
This is the.
Yeah, well, and so actually that's a good lead into the next one, which I will talk about very, very briefly, because this is also a summer top that I'm doing. That, you know, the thing with summer tops is you want to make them so that you can actually wear them.
I know,
so
you're
it's,
always,
you know, the right temperature to
it's
wear
always
them.
the inspiration during the season, and then by the time you start or finish your project, it's no longer that season anymore.
I just got sidetracked with a couple of with 2 blankets basically, so those are more time consuming. No, more time consuming projects. So this is I should pull this out. This is called the Lace Panel Shell. It was in the Spring Summer Knit Simple. Let's see. Copy of the pattern. So I'm using Noro Cotton Cashmere, which I love. This color has been really popular, and it is out of stock at Rowan right now, which is a shame. But it's got this lovely little lace panel up the front. And I am at the point where I need to decide how much longer to make it before I do my armholes. And that is why I put it aside, because I was going to see my mom, and I'm like, no, I can't work on that this weekend. And
that was quite a few weekends ago.
It was, and then I got into the Nora blanket. So anyway, but I think I have I did measure it, and I put a little more length. I think I've done a couple more repeats. But yeah, it is always a challenge when you're working on something that's very seasonal, a summer top. But can we do a pinky promise to let's try to finish them for the next time? We'll really try. Okay.
You hold us to it.
All right. So
you
that
can comment below. Motivation.
Yes.
Except I have been reading a lot about motivation because I have been lacking it due to quarantine. And I think the best piece of advice about it is motivation is not what you should be looking for. Discipline. Even if you don't want to do it, just do it anyway.
Make yourself do it.
Yes.
Yep.
So.
I find list making helps with that. If I have my list for the day.
Starting is the hardest part.
Starting is the hardest part. Yeah.
That should be my motto for the past 5 months.
Mm-hmm. Well, Amanda and I did a little. Did you watch our thing that we did on bullet journals?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's definitely I
know I have many ideas for bullet journal pages, but I have them in my brain and then I don't do them.
Mm-hmm. I like to do my bullet journal on Monday morning, though. I think I may shift and see if I can push it to Sunday like Amanda does, because a lot of times on Monday morning, Monday is the shipping day for us as well as the day that we work in the store, and a lot of times on Monday I just I know what I need to do that day, and so I don't need to do my bullet journal, and now with doing the work on the new space, so I'm back to the little handwritten notes on those nice little notepads that I know can no longer get.
I see more.
And yeah, so it keeps me on track for the day, but it doesn't keep me on track for the week. And I like it when I'm more on track for the week. So we will see. All right. Whip number 3 for you.
Whip. I will show you. Do you want to flip through to find?
Sure. Yeah. And this is really a whip to be, but you have picked out your yarn and
somewhat cheating. But we didn't have any finished objects, so it's okay. So, in the latest pom-pom edition, I noticed right away there were some crochet patterns.
Yes, there are quite a few crochet patterns in this one.
I was very excited because I loved this one.
Coatlique.
And by Sandra Gutierrez. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, actually, I think you said, would you want to do that? I was like, yeah, I would.
Yeah. Because we don't have... we've got some crochet patterns, some crochet samples here, and actually,
but not as many as we should, and not that many wearables.
not that many garments. Exactly. That's what I was
none that
thinking.
I see
We have
right
we have
now.
accessories, and there's a local crochet designer who's been really sweet and has shared things with us. Jessie Rayott, her website is Jessie At Home. We've got some nice samples from her here. Susan Leibowitz, one of our teachers, is a big crocheter and has made some samples for us. And Amanda has made some crocheted samples too. But yeah, not so much garments, like more accessories and shawls and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. And I think once you get started on this, you will crank right through it.
So I haven't ever done mosaic crochet, which is
What
used
this pattern
in this pattern,
uses. Yeah.
and I am very excited to try that out.
Yeah.
So here's the colors I'm going to be doing. The white will be the background. This is Juniper Moon Zoe in Toasted Coconut, which is the white, and Aquamarine in the blue. So I'm going to start off with just 2 colors, and the edging in the pattern, that's the lightest blue. I'm either going to do in one of these 2 colors or like some yarn from if it needs like a touch of another color.
Or remember the I have
or the extra
it was like terracotta, or it's more
type
like
Zoe,
burnt orange, which I think would look really pretty with that. Actually, it would be a nice little spark. So we will see.
It will be in progress next time.
Yeah.
Starting is the hardest part.
It is. And we have, I think, 4 more issues of Pom Pom right now. So if you were interested in doing that.
This is also available.
Yes. And interestingly, the current issue has 2 different covers. So this is one of the 2 covers. And the other one is...
I think that might be a crochet pattern on the front of the other one. I think that's why I noticed.
Maybe. So, but there's quite a few crochet patterns in this one.
If you want to.
All right, so that is very soon to be a whip, but I'm glad you got your yarn picked out and the patterns picked out and all of that.
So that's me for whips.
All right, and my third whip, and I actually did work on this today when I had my socially distanced coffee in one of my friend's backyards when it was still only like 75 degrees.
It is quite warm right now.
Is this on the Porch blanket sample, yet another blanket sample I'm doing for Yarnia. So this is a yarn from King Cole that we are considering bringing in as a kind of bulky weight yarn, and I like it a lot. I really do. So I have to weigh this and see how much I've used. I think this is 1 skein. I don't think it's more than 1 already, though it could be.
That's a lot.
I don't know.
This the end?
There were a couple of knots. So, or there was, I don't know. I think I caught it on something at one point, and this one was a knot. So, anyhow, I like it, and I think I said this last time I talked about this project. I do also want to do a swatch and just wash it, because I don't necessarily want to wash the whole blanket immediately after making it. But this is such a fun pattern, and it's become a really popular baby blanket among Yarnia's community. It's called On the Porch, and actually I don't even have a picture of it here. This is the store copy that Yarnia bought it so I can make the sample, and this is just my printout with my notes. The designer just lists themselves as 5410 Studio, and it's spelled out FIFTYFOURTEN Studio. So really just a very simple, modern looking baby blanket knit. Very easy. I'm usually
starts out simple, could be turned into many different colors if you wanted.
Yes, that would be really fun. And actually one of our Yarnia friends and fans just became a grandma yesterday.
Oh,
Leslie, did I tell you?
Yeah. Congratulations.
And I think maybe and this little baby, her grandma is an avid knitter and crocheter, has a stash almost as big as Yarnia. I've seen pictures. But I think, people that love Leslie would love to give her some more little things for her granddaughter, Leilani. So that's another thing to add to the list. That's on my mental whip list. I'll have to decide what color and what yarn to use. But I love this pattern. This is
really sweet.
It's great. And talk about your social knitting. Oh my goodness, it could not be easier. And it's funny, I actually did throw a marker on here, a row counter, to remind me when it was time to do my knit row on the purl side to get the garter ridges.
Yeah.
And I did this morning while I was talking, and I was like, nah, it's long enough. And then I did it. So really, once you get into the pattern, I think you don't really need even to count that. I do recommend markers to distinguish your garter border from the center.
Yeah.
Because otherwise
I feel like you would just keep knitting
totally
straight
cruise on through sometimes. Then you end up having to tink. Exactly. All right, so that is my third whip. We'll see. This one is much more of an in the background project. I don't know when I will finish this, but you know, working on it now and then. And the reason I stopped today was that I ran out of yarn. I finished the ball I had been working on. So maybe this will be my TV knitting for the next few days. We'll see. It'll be good to make some progress on it. All right. So that is it for whips for us.
For yarn whips, but
that's true.
We will
actually maybe we should start again or so
iMovie transition.
The biggest thing we've been working on is the new store, and Haley's been doing some videos. And
I want to make a vlog. Maybe.
Yeah, that would be really fun. So what I think I'm going to do for now, though, is just pick out some pictures to give to Amanda just to show some of the progress that we've been doing.
Yes, so, lots of painting, and the floors as we speak, well, earlier as we spoke, were happening.
Today was day 3 of floor work by a really great local company. They're doing beautiful work, and wait, day 3 or day 4? No, day 4, because today's Thursday.
Yes,
wow.
They started on Monday.
Yeah, so yeah, they did like a half day Monday, half day Tuesday, so it is kind of like the third full day of work. And we did not peek in there on our way here, but yeah, things are coming along. You know, we got a ton of painting done. Jen has volunteered to do some of the woodwork painting, which is great because I kind of feel like I'm painted out, and I didn't even do as much painting as you and Jean. I was doing more like coordinating. We've set up our warehouse area, our over area downstairs. We can put a picture of that in. Yeah, and just it's coming along. I've got a couple of little things to refine with the floor plan, but overall we're and soon. It's going to happen by the end of July. Our lease here is up at the end of July, so we are now in the month. Yes, so
some of the last
within the next 4 weeks, we will have shifted everything over and officially be at 127 watch time. So
see you there.
Very excited about that. All right.
Anyway, it was shortish for me. I have no idea what everybody else is up to, but I'll find out when I watch the podcast. In the meantime, remember to like and subscribe us on Ravelry, on shopyarnia.com, and Facebook, and Instagram, and all that fun stuff. And yeah, I'll see you later. Bye.
But next time, I hope I have some new items to show you, because I've ordered some fun things for the summer, because that's what we need right now, is a little bit of fun. So I've ordered some fun things to come, and I'll show you more of those next time. But to everybody, enjoy your happy Independence Day for everybody in the United States. Celebrate safely, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
All right, so is there something else we usually do? I feel like we're missing.
We didn't do finish August.
We didn't do it. Yeah, I guess so. It feels. Even
Does
shorter.
anyone know what's going on? Not us.
It's so hot in here. I can't think. My brain is melting. So that is it from us this episode. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. We appreciate your comments, and tell us what you're working on too. Join our virtual knit night. That is really it's a fun thing. Actually, we missed it this week. I had a migraine yesterday. Basically, I was pretty pretty pathetic for most of the day. I hung in there for 2 hours while I was here answering the phone and stuff, but I kind of went home and crashed and curled up in a little corner. But so, and whenever I do wind up missing it, I really, really look forward to going the following week too, because it's such a nice community, such a nice group, and we've got newcomers all the time. We've got returning people all the time.
It's very nice to meet you. So if you haven't joined yet and you're thinking about it, please do. Please do.
And the way to do that is to go to our, if you get our newsletter, there's a link there to click, or if you go to our website, shopyarnia.com, and go to the events tab, you can register there.
Yes.
And you have to register before it starts. Once it starts, we're on it and we don't see new requests coming in. Mm-hmm, but if you do it, like by Wednesday afternoon. And also, if you think you might come, sign up, get the Zoom info.
No pressure.
No pressure. If you can't make it, you can't make it. And what we're doing is using the same. If you've been on in like May or June, we're still using the same code. You can use that same code if you put it on your calendar. So
easy peasy.
Lemon squeezy.
Oh, I want lemonade. Oh.
I had lemonade.
Homemade lemonade would be so good.
Right about now.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, we digress.
Water.
So, take care. Be safe, everybody. Okay.
Be safe.
Be a good citizen. Be a good ally.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter. Have a good one. We'll see you soon. Bye.